And then fast forward to 2012, I got really sick. And I was seeking care at the VA hospital. And I had gone in and they told me that I had a diabetic-related liver disease. And I had 4 units of blood in my stomach. I was bleeding internally.
Yeah.
And I did everything that they told me to do. So obviously, fast forward to 2012, and I was at the Nazi Zudi Transplant Clinic, and I had gone from about 230 pounds down to 140.
Yeah.
So I was very, very sick. I went in for what was supposed to be kind of a routine procedure to install a stent or a shunt in my bile duct to keep the bile going.
Yeah.
And something went wrong, and I needed a transplant immediately. And I was, fully admitted. I was put to the top of the transplant list, and I was going downhill very quickly.
Right.
And one liver came in that was not a good match. And then a couple of days later, there was a second liver that had become available, and that also wasn't a good match. Well, the third liver, I think the next day, was a good match. And I didn't have very much time left. If that liver hadn't come in, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
So being the difficult kind of person that I am, most liver transplant surgeries take about 6 hours, and you'll use maybe 5 to 6 units of blood during the transplant. Well, mine took 13 hours. I had 2 transplant surgeons. I had 2 vascular surgeons there. They couldn't figure out why I wouldn't stop bleeding. Well, I ended up taking 59 units of blood and blood products.
Jeez.
One of the things in transplant that they don't tell you is obviously they have to wipe out your immune system in order for your body not to fight against the new organ. And when I woke up, I was in the ICU and I was hallucinating. and there were chickens all over the floor, just chickens walking around. And I was just tripping. And I thought, I had interviewed the folks from Westboro Baptist Church on the radio, and they had gotten so angry with me that they hung up and they just cut the interview. So in my mind, I'm thinking it was some plot from the Westboro Baptist Church to screw up my transplant. It was absolutely fascinating. Well, when I got home, I was very frail and very sick.
Yeah.
And I had to go through a couple of months of occupational therapy. I had to basically learn to walk and balance myself again.
Right.
It was really tough. And when the doctor finally gave me the go-ahead to work part-time, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to work. I used to be a political analyst. I was a political talk show host. I had my hunting and fishing TV show, and I couldn't hunt anymore because I can't be exposed to the bacteria.
Yeah.
I decided it was time to give back. And I went here to OBI and applied for a job in our contact center. And I was just making calls, talking to people about blood donation, the importance, and scheduling folks. Well, eventually my doctor told me that I could work full-time. And so I went full-time. I was promoted to supervisor of projects and education. And I was doing the hiring for the contact center and interviews and doing the training. And the opportunity came up to work in what we call recruitment. And that's where we put together blood drives in different areas. Now, I interviewed for the position and I got the position. My territory right now runs from like Piedmont down to almost Chickasha, west of I-44, but not as far out as El Reno, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I had told they asked me to share my story with our supervisors, our phlebotomy, and our donor services department, and I had done so. And during this speech, at the end, they had said they had a gift for me. And so they gave me this coffee cup, and I mean no offense, but it's really pretty ugly. It is not, my dachshund could probably have created a better looking coffee cup. And so, but of course I have to be nice and say, oh, this is so wonderful. Yeah. Well, they said to me, well, wait a minute, we have another gift for you. And this young man and his whole family in tow, his parents and grandparents and sister, came walking forward. His name's Mason O'Hara. He had donated blood right after his 16th birthday. It was his first blood donation, and his blood saved my life.
Wow.
And so we got to meet each other. And now we're friends on Facebook, and we have developed this really cool kind of relationship.
Yeah.
And we did some TV appearances this week, and I think we're going to be doing some more. But to talk about, he was sharing his story about he was nervous as heck donating blood the first time. But then it took him about 10 minutes. But then to get to meet me and to share our experiences together. I mean, we've gone and spoke together. It's just a neat experience. And now he and I are close, and his parents are close with me. And if he's acting up, I talk to his parents. And, we exchange messages on Facebook and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. He's going to be at our All-American Drive this weekend. And I'll be there with him, as he donates. I can't donate because of the medication that I take.
Sure.
So he's just a great kid, just a
Yeah.
great kid. And so, I'm an example. And Father's Day's coming up.
Right.
And I have both of my daughters are getting married this year. Mm-hmm. And if it weren't for that sacrifice of time that Mason made and others, I wouldn't be able to attend. I wouldn't be here. So some would say, well, it's a double-edged sword. I'm here because, and now that I've, experienced this, my filter is just gone. And I have a zero tolerance for any kind of BS. But some people would say, well, it's too bad that he survived. But my kids are happy. And I get to be at my daughter's wedding this year.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.